Hey, it's me, MLB. Here's chapter 44 of Really Fake, and this one is titled Awake. If you call me Short Stack again, I'll bite your dick off, he retorted playfully. I deserve a better title than Short Stack. Queen of Suck, he offered. Tit, you deadpan. You're lying there with everything out and you have the audacity to pull a stunt like that. What kind of title is that? I'll give myself the title. I'll be the Queen of Sucking Tit. You cackled as you heard the words leave your mouth, and he laughed along with you, reaching out to grab you and pull you down onto him for a hug as he used one hand to pull his pants up. You're a real onion, he said lovingly as he kissed your temple. Let's have that first date soon. You tell me when, and I'll make it happen. Who says I want to date you now, huh? You replied teasingly. I'm a queen now. What's your title? Duke of Titty of Yunville, he replied seriously. You're an idiot, you chuckled playfully, biting at his chin. I'll duke your titty. Don't you even dare, he replied with a low-key hyena laugh. You were both still chuckling when the home phone rang, and you both looked up at it as it sat there shaking on the side table beside the chair. You're going to get that right? Kuroo prompted. Oh, right. Yeah, I guess I better, you replied sheepishly. Pa usually answered the home phone because you claimed that you were allergic to it, but because Pa wasn't there, you got off the couch and walked over to it, lifting the receiver from the old base and pressing the speaker to your ear. Hello? You asked. Hello, is this the Lin residence? A professional, friendly-sounding voice asked from the other end of the line. Yeah, but my pa isn't home, you said, looking at Kuroo like, help me, please? Yes, I am aware. I'm calling from the general hospital, the woman replied. Stupidity slapped you on your left cheek and regret punched you in the right, and you stood there with a metaphorical red face, feeling dumb as hell. Oh, right, sorry. What's up? You asked awkwardly, cringing at yourself. Is Pa okay? I rang to let his next of kin know that he's woken up, the nurse said, continuing to talk, but your brain had frozen at the news of him waking. He's awake. He's awake? You suddenly asked, computing her announcement, then bumbling over the top of her. Yes, he has. This is the reason for the call. Can I visit him? I'm his only granddaughter. Yes, you may. As I just said, I was encouraging you to come. He needs to orientate himself by seeing a familiar... I'm coming, you said quickly, before hanging up the phone and staring at Kuroo. That's what she said, he commented cheekily, but you ignored it and let it go straight over your head. He's awake. Pa? Yes. Then let's go, Kuroo said, getting up off the lounge and adjusting himself. He's okay. He's okay, you said, flicking your fingers rapidly and pacing back and forth. He's okay. Hey, Kuroo said, grabbing you into a hug when he saw you starting to do repetitive anxiety behaviour. We're going to go there right now. He's awake and you'll get to see him. Don't stress. You nodded, still shaking a little as tears welled up in your eyes. Come on, let's go, Kuroo urged, taking your hand and walking you to the front door. We're here to see Mr. Lin, Sr., Kuroo said to the nurse on reception as you both entered the hospital about 45 minutes later. I'm sorry, visiting hours are closed, the middle-aged lady replied. He's just woken up from a coma and the nurse said we could come and see him, you said quickly, interjecting to try and push for what you wanted. Visiting hours are closed, the nurse said a little more sternly. Why do you guys all say something different? You snapped. The nurse told me to come right away to help orientate him or something, and now we have here, and you say no. Make up your minds. I'm about to have a pat. Kuroo placed his hand on your arm and then gave the nurse a very serious look. He had a way of coming off extremely intimidating at times, and since the nurse had no idea what he was really like underneath, she was inclined to believe his facade. Please give me the name of Mr. Lin's current nurse, he said, pulling your shaking form against him. I can't do that, the nurse replied in a haughty tone. Aggressive visitors will be escorted from the building and no information will be given to them. Aggressive, you started. Just then, Nurse Patience appeared like an angel walking around the corner. Nurse Patience, you called out when you saw her. Hello, honey, she greeted. Your pa has just woken. Yes, and I want to see him, you said in a begging voice. I was told to come to the hospital, but then this nurse, you pointed to the smug-looking woman on the desk, won't let me visit him. Nurse Patience clicked her tongue to the inside of her cheek and jerked her head for you and Kuroo to follow her, and then turned her wrath on the reception nurse. Janet, I told you to let them come through, she said sharply. It's not within visiting hours, Janet replied in an obnoxious tone. Your boyfriend, who is married, doesn't come within visiting hours, but that's none of my damn business, she snapped in a firm tone, before turning and striding off down the hall with her nose in the air. and you had to look away so that Nurse Janet couldn't see the look of pure delight on your face. Oh my god, I'm just so glad that I won't have to be coming down here for much longer once Pa is out. God, please rest Janet's soul. I think she's about to die of embarrassment, you thought, finally glancing back at Janet, who was just staring at you with a bright red face. He just woke up a few hours ago, Nurse Patience addressed you, calling your attention to her words. Oh, and how is he? You asked, shifting your mind away from Nurse Janet and her scandal. I need to warn you, Nurse Patience said as she stopped outside his door. Since waking, he still has left side paralysis, but he's been able to talk. If he were a little younger, he most likely would have been able to recover his movement, but because he is older, there is a high chance he won't be able to move on that side. Your heart sank. This isn't the news you wanted to hear. You wanted your Pa back whole. So what does that mean? You asked numbly, not even feeling Kuroo's hand on your shoulder at that point. It means he may need to go into gear, the nurse replied. Put him in a home? You asked with a heavy heart. I couldn't do that to him. We're the only family that we have left. That is something you'll have to discuss with him. He is a little disoriented at the moment, but we don't think he has suffered too much memory loss. Will he remember me? You asked nervously, a lump starting to form in your throat. Yes, he should do, yes, she replied confidently, finally giving you a reassuring smile. He remembers me every time he sees me, so he should remember you. She turned and headed into the room, addressing your Pa once she was in his sights. Good evening, Mr. Lin, she greeted. It's my wife, Pa slurred. Oh God, you groaned internally, yet elated that his cheekiness and humour was still intact. When are we to be wed? Pa slurred again, stopping when you and Kuroo walked into view. Yen, tit, he warbled, lifting his arms and stretching them out to invite you in for a hug. You ran from Kuroo's side and threw yourself into Pa's arms, half leaning across the bed as you sobbed into his hospital gown. Oh, Pa, stay tuned for chapter 45 coming tomorrow. I'll see you then.